Long ago, in a distant land, two princes were born into two neighboring kingdoms. One was Prince John, born into a peaceful and prosperous realm. The other was Prince Shaman, the pride of a rival kingdom. When they grew older, both princes were sent away by their parents to study in a faraway land known for its great wisdom and advanced learning. Although they could have studied within their own kingdoms, tradition said, true growth comes from learning far from home. And so, both princes traveled to this place of knowledge, without their families, without comfort, but with great hope. Within only a short time, John shined brightly. He was gifted, intelligent, and humble. Teachers began relying on him, and soon he became an assistant to the scholars themselves. Not only that, John was asked to help teach the other students, especially Prince Shaman. Over time, the two boys grew close. They were friends, brothers, and also teacher and student. Years passed. Their studies neared completion, and the day came for them to return to their own kingdoms. But as the moment approached, John felt a strange uneasiness in his heart. He did not know why. He could not explain it, but something inside him whispered, "Shaman, you are not safe." Before parting ways, John held Shaman's shoulders firmly and said, "Promise me, live wisely, rule justly, and take care of yourself." He didn't know why, but something deep in his heart felt uneasy, as if a shadow was waiting in Shaman's future. Soon, both princes returned to their own kingdoms. With their education complete, they easily inherited the thrones of their fathers and became young kings, rulers of their lands. For a while, peace followed them both. But in Shaman's kingdom, there lived a famous royal cook, a man known for his skill, his creativity, and his loyalty. Yet one innocent mistake of this cook would change Shaman's life forever. One evening, the cook forgot to close the kitchen door. A simple, everyday error. But because of it, stray dogs entered the kitchen and dragged away the beef prepared for the king's meal. By morning, there was no food to present to the king, and in that kingdom, failing to serve the king properly was considered a crime punishable by death. Fear spread through the heart of the cook. He had to find something, anything, to place before the king. But fate was cruel. It was also a market-closed day. No stalls were open. No meat was available anywhere. In utter desperation, he ran to the cemetery under cover of night. There, he found a freshly buried body. His hands shaking, he uncovered the corpse and cut a portion from the thigh. He returned to the palace and cooked it with rich spices, hoping the king would not notice. When King Shaman took his first bite, he was shocked. The taste was extraordinary. Tender, rich, unlike anything he had eaten before. He narrowed his eyes and asked quietly, "Cook, what meat is this?" The cook trembled. He tried to lie. "Beef, Your Majesty, the same beef you always eat." But Shaman stood, unsheathed his sword, and placed it against the man's neck. "Do not deceive your king. Tell me the truth, or you die where you stand." Cornered, the cook fell to his knees. He whispered, "If I must die, I will speak truth. Your Majesty, it is human meat." The room fell silent. But instead of rage, a strange expression crossed Shaman's face. He lowered his sword slowly. Then he said in a calm, chilling voice, "This matter is important. You must tell no one. From this day forward,
Never serve me any other meat. Only human flesh." And with that single command, Shaman's destiny took a dark and irreversible turn.
The cook trembled and asked, "Your Majesty, but how can I find human meat every day?" Shaman looked at him calmly and replied, "The prisons are full. Start with the worst criminals." And from that night on, a nightmare began. At first, the cook took prisoners, murderers, thieves, men condemned to death. But soon the prison cells began to empty. There were no more criminals, no more sentenced men. And yet, the king still demanded flesh. So Shaman gave another order. "Place money on the roads. Whoever picks it up, declare them a thief, and bring them to the prison." For a short while, this cruel plan worked, but as days passed, people began to notice. They avoided money on the ground. They refused to touch anything suspicious. Then Shaman issued a darker command: "Kill anyone who walks outside at night." Fear spread like wildfire. By the next week, no one dared step outside after sunset. People locked their doors. Families hid their children. Whispers of danger filled the kingdom. Finally, desperate and terrified, the villagers gathered at the palace gates. They cried out, "Your Majesty, our land is cursed! A murderer walks among us! Please protect us! Please find him!" They begged the king for justice. But Shaman, knowing the truth, simply waved his hand and said, "This is your problem. Solve it yourselves. I have more important matters of state to handle." He pretended ignorance, but one person did not believe him. A powerful general, loyal, fearless, respected, began to investigate. He was determined to find the killer, and soon he captured the cook. The general interrogated him harshly, demanding answers. "Why are you murdering people? Who ordered this?" At last, the cook broke down and confessed, "I killed them to feed the king." The general's blood ran cold. Loyalty burned inside him. He was furious, not because of the cook's words, but because they dishonored the king he respected. He barked, "How dare you speak such lies? Would you say this in front of His Majesty?" The cook lifted his trembling head. "If you wish, I will." The next morning, the general brought the cook before Shaman. The king greeted them with a calm smile and said, "Why have you arrested a man who serves me faithfully?" His tone was soft, but loaded with hidden meaning. The general understood the truth in that moment. The cook was telling the truth, and the king had walked into darkness. But the general was loyal. He loved his king, and he could not bear to watch him fall deeper into evil. So he kneeled and said, "Your Majesty, please, stop eating human flesh." The general, loyal to his king and desperate to save him, spoke gently but firmly. He said, "Your Majesty, long ago there was a great cave where 10,000 golden swans lived. Before the rainy season, they gathered food and stored it inside, planning to survive for 2 months." The king listened silently. The general continued, "Every year, a giant spider spun its web across the cave entrance, trapping the swans inside. But when the rainy season ended, the swans, strong and healthy, broke through the web and escaped. But one year," he said, "the rains did not end in 2 months. They continued for 3. With food running out, the swans began eating their own kind. By the time the rain finally stopped, they were weak.
too weak to break the spider's web. And so the spider devoured them all. The general bowed his head. "Your Majesty, this is what happens when creatures begin eating their own kind. Please, stop this before it destroys you." But Shaman only smiled, a cold, unsettling smile, and replied, "You speak in examples? Then hear mine." He leaned forward. Once, a small child loved a certain fruit at the top of a tall tamarind tree. Adults would climb and bring it down for him. He loved it so much that he wanted it every day. But one day, the adults traveled far away. The child waited, but no one came. Desperate, craving the taste he loved, he tried to climb the tall tree himself. Halfway up, he slipped, and he died. Shaman looked into the general's eyes. Even a child can die from not getting what he craves. If I stop eating human flesh, I will die. Do not try to stop me." The general realized then that he could no longer save his king. So he returned to the people and revealed the truth. The kingdom erupted in fear and chaos. Shaman, hearing the uproar, declared, "Very well, I will abandon the throne. But give me a pot, a knife, and my cook." And with that, Shaman left the palace and disappeared into the deep forest. There, far from the kingdom, he and the cook lived alone. And in that dark forest path, Shaman ordered the cook to attack travelers, capture them, and prepare their flesh for meals. But one day, the cook returned empty-handed. He trembled as he said, "Your Majesty, today I caught no one. People are avoiding the forest." Shaman simply smiled quietly and replied, "It doesn't matter. Just set the pot." As the cook bent over the pot to prepare it, Shaman stepped behind him, and with one swift strike, cut him down. The cook died beside the very pot he had used to cook others. From that day on, Shaman hunted for flesh by himself. People soon learned about the monstrous figure who ruled the forest, and travelers avoided the area entirely. But fate had other plans. One day, a wealthy merchant's daughter had to travel through that same forest for important business. She traveled with a group of hired guards protecting her. But Shaman was fearless. He ambushed them with the skill of a former king and a predator. He fought through the guards, seized the girl, threw her over his shoulder, and fled into the trees. The guards gave chase, driven by duty and the money they had been paid. As Shaman ran, he leapt over a fallen tree, but in mid-jump, his foot struck a hidden stump. Pain screamed through his leg as he twisted and fell. He realized he could not outrun them now. So he threw the merchant's daughter aside and limped away into the woods. The guards recovered the girl and dared not pursue the forest demon any further. But the injury Shaman suffered would not heal. Deep in the forest stood an enormous ancient tree, believed to be inhabited by powerful spirits. In those days, many still worshipped such beings. Shaman crawled beneath it and made a desperate vow. "If you heal this wound, I will offer you the blood of 500 humans." He waited, but his wound did not heal through magic. It healed simply because he had not eaten for days, and the swelling reduced naturally. But Shaman believed it was the spirit's power. He believed he had been blessed. And now,
he felt bound to keep his promise. That was the beginning of a new terror. From that day on, Shaman believed the forest spirit had blessed him. His faith in the spirit grew even stronger. In his mind, it was as if the spirit had given him wings like a mighty eagle. And so, he began to hunt for people. He captured them one by one, then in groups, until 500 people were tied up with ropes and kept beneath the great banyan tree. As the number of captives grew, the spirit of the tree began to feel uneasy. I didn't do anything for him, the spirit thought. Yet this is how he repays me? By piling human suffering beneath my branches. This is shameful to witness. But the tree spirit did not know how to handle this alone. So it went to the Lord of the gods, the King of heaven, and told him everything. The heavenly king listened and replied, "A man like Shaman, who eats human flesh, cannot be stopped by ordinary people. The only one who can stop him is someone wise and full of virtue. Send him a dream. Tell him that the sacrifices he is offering now are impure and worthless, that only one offering will truly please you, King John. Shaman will try to capture him. When John arrives, he will solve this problem." The heavenly king believed in John's wisdom. So that night, the tree spirit appeared in Shaman's dream. In the dream, it said, "The people you are sacrificing to me are stained with sin. If you want to truly honor me, bring me King John. Only then will I be satisfied." When Shaman woke up, he knew what he had to do. He would capture John, his friend, his former classmate, his respected teacher. He began planning carefully. He gathered information about John's habits and routines. Soon, he learned that every month, King John left the city to perform a sacred bathing ritual at a ceremonial lake outside the capital. On the day of the ritual, Shaman went there first. He hid in the lake, underwater, beneath a large lotus leaf, waiting, watching, planning. Meanwhile, King John left his palace on the back of an elephant, surrounded by royal guards and attendants. On the way, he met a serene-looking monk walking on the road. The monk bowed and said, "Your Majesty, I have 4 sacred verses I wish to recite for you. They are priceless teachings." John smiled respectfully and replied, "Right now, I am on my way to perform a purification ritual. After I bathe and return cleansed, I will listen to your 4 verses. Please wait for me at the palace." The monk agreed, and John continued to the lake. When they arrived, John removed his royal ornaments and jewelry, preparing to enter the water and perform the ceremony. This was the moment Shaman had been waiting for. Hidden beneath the lotus leaves, he thought, "I have to wait for the right time. If I grab him while he's still wearing all that heavy jewelry, he'll be too heavy to carry. I'll capture him after he takes everything off and steps into the water." As John was in the middle of the ritual, Shaman sprang up from the water and seized him. The guards tried to intervene, but Shaman's strength, skill, and wild determination were overwhelming. They could not hold him. He escaped with John, carrying him on his back as he ran toward the forest. When he captured other people, Shaman usually tied them by the legs and dragged them along the ground. But this time was different. This was John, his old friend, his teacher, the man he deeply respected. So Shaman carried him carefully on his shoulders. John's hair was still wet from the ritual. As they moved, droplets of water fell from his hair onto Shaman's back. Shaman mistook it for tears. With a harsh laugh, he said, "Oh, so this is the wise and noble King John. Are you finally afraid of death? Is that why your tears are falling?" John answered calmly, "I am not afraid of dying. That is just water from my hair. But there is something that saddens me. Put me down for a moment, shaman." When they reached a safer, quiet spot, shaman set John down. John looked at him and said, "Let me go back, shaman. I promise I will return. On my way to the lake, I met a monk. He told me he would teach me 4 sacred verses. I promised to listen to them after my ritual. I want to hear those verses. I want to keep my word. So release me now, and I will definitely come back to you." Shaman shook his head and laughed in disbelief. "Who would walk back to the place they are going to be killed? That is impossible. I don't believe you." John looked at him steadily. "Shaman, a person who lives by virtue never lies. To lie is worse than to die. Even if rivers started flowing backwards, I would not tell a lie. You lived with me. Tell me, have you ever seen me lie?" Shaman paused. Memories of their youth, their days of learning together, flooded his mind. He thought to himself, "The only reason I caught John was because of the dream from the spirit. In truth, I love him like a brother. I respect him more than anyone. If he truly wishes to come back, he will. If he doesn't, so be it. If John does not return, I will offer 5,000 more humans instead. I will keep hunting until the tree spirit is satisfied." In that moment, his lingering humanity showed itself. Shaman untied John and set him free. John returned to his kingdom. His soldiers, his family, and all the people were overjoyed to see him alive. They had been terrified for his life. When they asked what had happened in the forest, John said nothing. He walked straight to the palace, where the monk was waiting. True to his word, he sat down and listened carefully as the monk recited the 4 sacred verses. The teachings were deep, powerful, and full of wisdom. John's heart was filled with joy and peace. He thanked the monk sincerely and offered him generous alms. Afterward, with a calm and happy mind, he went to see his family. When they asked him again what had happened in the forest, John simply said, "I must return there." His family was shocked. "Return? Why would you go back to that monster? We should send the army, hunt him down, and end this." But John replied, "He had every chance to kill me, and yet he let me go. I made a promise. I do not break my word. You know this about me. Do not be afraid. Nothing will happen to me. I will come back to you again." In his heart, John believed something else as well. He believed that, with wisdom and compassion, he might still be able to save Shaman. And so, keeping his promise, King John set out once more, back into the forest, where his old friend had fallen into darkness. When King John returned to the forest, he found Shaman sitting by the fire, sharpening wooden skewers. Nearby, some of the captives were tied up, waiting in fear to become his next meal. Hearing footsteps behind him, Shaman turned around and froze. It was John. For a moment, he simply stared, shocked. The man he had captured and released, the man who knew he was walking toward death, had actually come back. A strange feeling crept into Shaman's heart. For the first time in a long while, he felt fear. Because when a cruel person meets someone who does not fear death, the cruel one becomes the frightened one. Shaman thought to himself, "John really came back. He knew I could kill him, and he still came." John stepped forward calmly and said, "Well, here I am. Do what you wish.
Kill me and offer me to your tree spirit, or kill me and eat me. Do whatever you want." Shaman stared at him. There was no shaking in John's voice, no begging, no anger, no fear. Shaman's mind started racing. Why isn't he afraid? Why is he so calm? Is it because of those 4 sacred verses he went back to hear? Maybe, if I hear those verses too, I'll stop being afraid like him. The thought grabbed him. For the first time, he wanted what John had. Not his flesh, but his courage. So Shaman said, "John, recite those 4 verses for me. I want to hear them." John looked at him and replied quietly, "You? Those verses are not for someone like you." He continued, "Your hands are stained with blood. You are a man of extreme cruelty. To satisfy your craving for human flesh, you abandoned your kingdom, you killed innocent people, and you turned yourself into a monster. Even if you learned these teachings, what good will they do you? How will they benefit someone who chooses savagery?" His words were calm, but they cut like a blade. Shaman's pride was wounded.
He snapped back. "Think, John. There are people who go into the forest to hunt deer, boar, and other animals just because they enjoy eating meat. They kill animals and eat them. I kill humans and eat them. What's the difference between us?" John answered, "There is a difference. They kill other creatures. You kill your own kind. You eat your own brothers and sisters in humanity. That makes you far more foolish than them." Shaman, not wanting to lose the argument, shot back. "No, John, you're the foolish one. You came back here fully knowing I intend to kill you. Who does that? Anyone who walks back into the hands of their killer is a fool who doesn't understand how the world works." John answered, "There is no one in this world who understands illusion better than I do. I know what deception is. I know what tricks are. Most illusions are made of lies, selfishness, and manipulation. And I have chosen to throw all of that away. I will walk with truth, even if it costs me my life." Shaman frowned. "And what has this truth given you? You're going to die soon anyway." John replied, "If I keep my truth, I walk a peaceful path, no matter when or how I die." Shaman fell silent. He looked at John's face. John's expression was calm, bright, and peaceful, like a full moon behind lotus petals. This was not the face of a man about to die in terror. Shaman's heart trembled. How can he be so calm in front of the person who is going to kill him? He finally asked out loud, "John, why aren't you afraid? Is it because of those 4 verses you heard? Or because of this truth you keep talking about?" John answered, "I am not afraid of death because I have already lived as I should. I have done many good deeds. I have given generously. I have done what is right and avoided what is wrong. I have prepared my path to the next life, as clean and bright as I can. I have fulfilled my duties to my mother, my father, my children, my wife, my people, and my relatives. I have done what I must do. So tell me, why should someone like me fear death?" Then the narrator's truth settles in. People fear death because they have not prepared, because they think they still have time and do nothing with it. Shaman listened. A realization hit him like a storm. This man is a true noble being, a saint. If I kill him and eat him, Surely heaven itself will not forgive me. It would be like lightning striking my head, splitting it into 7 pieces. For the first time, he was truly afraid. Not of John, but of what he might become if he killed someone so pure. So he spoke again. John, people can only understand right and wrong when they hear teachings like the ones you've heard. If I hear these 4 verses you learned, maybe even I could change. Maybe I could become better. So I beg you, teach them to me. John looked at him, really looked, past the cruelty, past the blood, past the fear. He saw a man trapped in darkness, but still capable of hearing the truth. So finally, John said softly, "Sit down, shaman." Shaman slowly lowered himself onto the ground, cross-legged like a student before a master, just as they once were. John straightened his posture, lifted his face toward the moonlit canopy, and began reciting the first verse. Verse 1. The truth of desire. When desire controls a man, his heart becomes a slave. But when he controls desire, his heart becomes free. Shaman felt a chill. It was as if the verse reached straight into his past, the moment he tasted human flesh, the moment he couldn't stop. John continued. Verse 2. The nature of choices. Every action plants a seed. Good deeds bring peace. Cruel deeds bring torment. No one escapes the tree grown from their own seeds. Shaman swallowed. His hands trembled. He remembered every victim, every scream. Every night he convinced himself that hunger made it necessary. John's voice remained calm. Verse 3. The courage to change. Even the darkest heart can find the path of light the moment it chooses to turn. Shaman lifted his head slowly. Something inside him cracked, not from anger, but from a fragile spark he had forgotten he possessed. Hope. Verse 4. The fearlessness of truth. He who walks with truth walks without fear. For truth is a shelter no weapon can break. When John finished, the forest fell completely silent. The flames barely moved. Even the wind seemed to stop to listen. Shaman stared at John, not as prey, not as a rival, but as a man seeing light after living too long in darkness. Hearing the 4 sacred verses, Shaman felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. His heart softened, his rage cooled. For the first time, gratitude washed over him. He bowed deeply and said, John, I honor you. These 4 teachings, they have opened my eyes. Please, allow me to offer you 4 gifts in return. Ask me for anything. John smiled faintly. You? Asking me to request blessings? He shook his head. If I ask, you won't fulfill them. If you refuse, who will judge between us? You have never kept a promise in your life. Shaman's pride flared. No, John. This time, I swear it with my life. Whatever you ask, I will grant it. John studied him carefully. He meant it. But John also knew Shaman's weakness, his obsession with human flesh. If I ask him to stop eating people first, John thought, he will struggle and suffer. He gave up his throne and everything he had for this addiction. I must start gently. So John made his first request.
Request 1. Let me see you live long in peace. John spoke softly. May you live long, Shamin, for many years, healthy and unharmed. Grant me this blessing. It sounded like kindness, but it held a deeper meaning. Do not kill me. Because if John died that night, he could not see Shamin live at all. Shamin nodded. Yes, this I can give. Request 2. Release the prisoners. John continued. Release every person you have captured. Shamin hesitated, just for a moment, but then bowed his head. Very well. Request 3. Do not enslave them. When you release them, John said, do not force them to stay. Let them return to their homes and kingdoms. Again, Shamin agreed. Request 4. The final, impossible one. John took a deep breath. He knew this was the true test, the one that would either save Shamin or destroy him. Shamin, my final request. Stop eating human flesh. Shamin's face changed instantly. His breath caught, his jaw tightened. Then he shook his head. No, that one I cannot grant. Anything else, but not that. John sighed. I warned you, didn't I? He said calmly. If you refuse, who will judge? You swore an oath on your very life, yet now you break it. Shamin's heart shattered. He fell to his knees, crying like a child trapped in darkness. I did promise you, but John, I cannot live without eating human flesh. And I know this is the one thing you want. He sobbed uncontrollably, desperate and lost. John waited until the crying slowed, then spoke with the voice of truth. John's final teaching. In life, Shamin, between wealth and the body, choose the body and abandon wealth. Between the body and life itself, choose life and abandon the body. He stepped closer, his voice calm like a river. But when life stands against truth, you must choose truth and abandon everything else. Your wealth, your body, even your life. Those words pierced Shamin like lightning. He stopped crying. He looked up at John, the man he once called friend, teacher, and even rival. Then, slowly, through trembling lips, John, I will stop eating human flesh. John stepped forward and embraced him. Shamin cried again, not from fear this time, but from release. A moment later, he rose and freed every prisoner he had captured. For the first time in many years, the forest felt clean again.
John turned to him and said, Now, Shamin, return to your kingdom and face your people. Face your sins. But Shamin lowered his head. I have no kingdom to return to, John. If I go back, the people whose fathers I killed, whose sons I devoured, they will stone me to death. Even one thrown rock would end my life. I cannot return. He took a step back from John. You should leave. Do not stay here because of me. John walked out of the forest, leaving Shamin standing alone among the trees. The path was silent. Only the wind moved through the branches. When John finally reached the city gates, word spread like fire. "The king is back! He survived the forest demon!" People rushed out, men, women, children, some crying, some dropping to their knees in relief. John's soldiers ran toward him first. "Your Majesty, we feared the worst." John simply nodded, his face calm but weary. He entered the palace. The queen and his children ran to him, holding him tightly. But when they asked, "What happened in the forest? How did you escape death?" John only smiled gently and said, "Everything that needed to be done is done. Everything that needed to end has ended."
Meanwhile, deep in the forest, Shaman sat beneath the great tree. He looked up at the ancient tree, the one he once thought held a powerful spirit. Now he understood. The only true spirit was the truth John taught him. He folded his legs, straightened his back, closed his eyes, and breathed. For the first time in his life, he felt peace. No hunger, no violence, no fear, just stillness. As night settled in, a group of villagers approached the forest edge. They found the captives wandering home, and deeper inside, they found Shaman sitting in silence beneath the tree. He did not run. He did not fight. He simply said, "Do what you must." The villagers surrounded him, but when they saw he had freed everyone, when they saw the tears dried on his face and the calm in his eyes, they lowered their weapons. One man said, "We cannot kill a man who has already punished himself." And so the villagers walked away. Shaman remained under the tree, alone, but at peace. Days passed. Weeks passed. Some say he became a hermit. Some say he meditated until his final breath. Some say the forest itself forgave him. No one knows for sure. But one thing lived on: the story of a man who overcame his own darkness. At the end of his life, Shaman learned a truth many never discover. The greatest battle is not against others, but against your own mind, your own desires, your own darkness. John became known as the King of Truth, the Master of Compassion, the Teacher of 3 realms. And Shaman? History remembers him not as a monster, but as a warning and as a reminder. Even the darkest heart can find the light if it meets the right truth at the right time.